we have a quorum present for tonight's Planning and Development Committee. First, thank you for visiting Alderman Braithwaite. We'll see you shortly. All right, so quorum being present, our first item of business is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of December 9th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Alderman Revelle.
I just have a correction to the minutes in terms of the vote on P1, because I was a no vote, I believe, on that.
Okay. All right.
We will update and post with the correction. Thank you.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes with the correction of Alderman Revelle's vote on item P1?
Move approval as corrected.
Second.
Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. That passes unanimously. Our next item is PM1. Staff recommends. No, wait, we did that one. All right, never mind. Public comment. We have two people signed up. First is Mary Miller, followed by Sue Lolbach. Welcome.
Happy New Year, and I am a resident of the Hampton Park Condominium Association, and I'm coming to express my gratitude for the seriousness with which you took our comments about deconversion and the deconversion process in the December meeting. I wanted to update you all that we are now under contract for the purchase of our property. That was accepted with a 75.66% vote. That 0.66 was gained on the evening of the vote when an owner was offered an incentive of $35,000 to change their vote on that evening. So there are, and the end of our due diligence period of 60 days is today, and we were just asked to vote on and extend our due diligence period for another 20 days before this contract comes into being. So I just want to express my gratitude that as Alderman Revelle and Alderman Rainey stepping up last month and saying that this is truly the wild, wild west of condominium deconversion. It's not just affecting me, but all of the other 91 owners in my building and many others in our community. So I appreciate your consideration and your sense of urgency about this. I recognize that because we're currently under contract, that if you move forward with a moratorium, that it probably will not impact us. My hope is that if this contract was broken for any reason, that then our building would fall into the moratorium for any further action from this contract. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Lolbach.
Good evening. I'm Sue Lolbach. I work at Connections for the Homeless here in Evanston and the Coalition Joining Forces for Affordable Housing. And I am speaking on P5 tonight. I just wanted to express, I don't know if you're going to discuss it or not tonight, but I would like to express our support of the addition to the CJE Senior Life Building. This increase in senior housing is something that's very necessary. The number of seniors between 75 and up is going to be increasing faster than any other group of seniors in the city. And with the experience of Evergreen and the design of the building and the location, we just feel like it's a really good project and really important to support. So just wanted to make sure you all knew that and hope that you will support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, moving along, items for consideration. Alderman Rainey, could you please take us through item P1?
Yes, I certainly will. P1. P1 is Resolution 4R20, authorizing the City of Evanston to establish a moratorium on condominium conversion. I move approval, and Alderman Suffolk and I'd like to speak to it if it gets a second.
Second.
All right. The item has been moved and seconded. Alderman Rainey.
Okay. I think the speaker we heard tonight sent us a very interesting message, and that is, I think that we've already had an effect. And as a matter of fact, I got a call from a person from the other side, from that building, and I did explain that were this under contract, of course, they would not be affected by the moratorium. But I do think that we need to neutralize the problems of deconversion before they take place. And I think it's very important at this time for us to go forward with this. I'm not sure we need 6 months, though, do we? And I would like to hear from our staff why they're recommending that. The reason I want to see a moratorium here is so that we can take a look at the state regs and then see how we can improve upon them, because we have the right as a home rule community to improve upon those rules. And I'm not sure that just means increasing the percentage required for, approval or what other issues there are. But I think it's important for those out there trying to purchase these units for conversion need to know that there's some kind of oversight going on in the city and that people cannot be taken advantage of. And as I said earlier, it is exactly the reverse of what happened when conversions were taking place. It was terrible. I don't know if any of you were around at the time. A few of us were. But it was terrible. And it was hurtful and harmful to people, and it made life not very livable. So I'm very anxious to get started on this, and but I'd like to hear from staff why we need 6 months of a moratorium. I don't want to take the opportunity for people to deconvert if they want to away from them for that long a period.
Sir? Yeah, sure. Welcome. Please state your name for the record when you arrive.
Hello, my name is David Fisher. This is Liam. I wanted to get him exposed to the civic process as early as possible. I'm actually here to address the possibility of putting a moratorium on condo deconversions for the next 6 months. And I do not think that we should put that moratorium in place right now. I'm a longtime resident of Evanston, and in fact, I've been a condominium owner in Southeast Evanston at 200 South Boulevard for over 16 years now. And we are currently exploring the deconversion process. And while I understand that housing is a complex issue, there's a lot to look at, and you don't want to rush into things. Putting a moratorium over condo deconversions for the entire city seems like trying to take care of a fly on the wall with a sledgehammer. For example, we are a very small 8-unit condo, and because of the market right now for deconversions, we actually have an opportunity to get out from underwater. In fact, most of the owners in our building have not been able to sell since 2008 because we have an underwater, and that's just the reality of it. To be very specific, can't move because we need more room, and we haven't been able to sell at the prices that are currently available if we sell individually. So us working as a group, and we all are on board with this, would love to move forward. I'm actually on the board, and we've been working on this for months. And so when we just found out about this recently, that all of our hard work could be put on hold, we were very concerned. And it's exactly. There's a lot of different situations out there, and yes, I think sometimes we do want to take our time and give everything due consideration. But again, this feels like a very big blanket solution for something that actually could be very nuanced. And 6 months may not seem like a long time, but
Seems like a long time. No,
my son is 6 months old. So 6 months ago, I was well rested and had a lot more time and didn't smell like baby spit up. So I know that a lot can happen in 6 months. And so for us to put our lives on hold for that 6 months when, again, all of us want to do this with our property seems, again, a little excessive. And I would encourage you in its current form to at least amend the ordinance to allow those of us who want to go through this process to be able to do so and get on with our lives. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And so I believe Alderman Rainey had a question of staff about why 6 months.
I think I can answer that. Good evening, Michelle Mason Cup. That's what I wrote down in my notes. Maybe I just wrote it down incorrectly. So if you want to decrease it, you can amend the resolution tonight.
I was the one that suggested.
Already, I just wrote down 6 months, so.
Well,
I think it was thrown out in the discussion of how about we try a moratorium for 6 months. So, I mean, if depending on, based on what we've heard, what's desired, additional research into state regulations, some of the other research and understanding of how many condominiums are out there that might be converted. There's a little bit of research. We have other staff that are programmed to do other things, whether this is contracting this work out or having an intern do it or some other. We can't pop up and go tomorrow if this is approved. There is a little bit of startup time that we'll need to engage in order to make sure the answers are properly responded to.
Thank you.
I'd like to take a look at it for 3 months. I don't think there's any need for 6 months. I mean, I just think that, because I don't want to get into the summer, which is the big sale time, when people, but, to take a building at 24 units, let's say, I mean, I don't know about an 8-unit building or a 3-unit building to deconvert, but for a 24-unit to deconvert, takes a long time to get all those folks together. But I'd like to do 3 months. I'd like to see a moratorium for 3 months, and I'd like us to really put our heads together, because the story we heard from the building in, is it your ward, Hampton Parkways, that is not an unusual story. That is not unusual. I've been following the deconversions in Chicago. I followed the one on Asbury. I mean, so many people in that building who fought it and who stayed have moved out because of the horrible situation that occurred. And so I think, while some people may be underwater and are looking forward to this opportunity to get out, there needs to be some controls.
All right, thank you. Alderman Wilson.
Thank you. And I certainly understand and appreciate the concerns, and I do think that we should take action to address this, to make it, I don't want to use the word harder to deconvert, but that's really what I'm getting at, is to make sure that a higher percentage really wants this to happen. But at the same time, I really don't think we should be doing a moratorium. This is just, at its basic premise, this is a real estate transaction. So the idea that we're going to just decide that a certain kind of real estate transaction can't go forward, I'm really troubled by that. I think it sets an extremely dangerous precedent. Where does the line get drawn on that? It's not a question of a zoning approval. We don't have any role in this process. We're not granting other than getting some affordable housing money, we're not granting planned developments. We might be doing some permits for the work.
Are you familiar with our control of condominium conversions? We have a huge role in converting from rental to condominiums. And that was because of the work we did back in the 80s.
Well, and so to that exact point, because there was so much of that turning these into condos, I think that process created a lot of very precarious condominium associations where a lot of buildings in the Chicagoland and Cook County areas are underwater, and they can't afford to make basic repairs. They can't afford to make roof repairs. They can't afford to get tuck pointing done. So you have people that are living in buildings that they can't maintain and they don't have an exit strategy. Banks won't lend on that. If you've got a building like that, people won't lend on that. If you don't have reserves in your association assessments, people won't purchase. So you've got people that are trapped in their condo homes, in their buildings, with no way out. And I heard from a few people through the course of today expressing that sentiment. And I think we should act quickly, and we should do something as expeditiously as possible. But I don't think we should prevent people from proceeding with their real estate transactions. I think it sets a really dangerous precedent.
I don't see any more lights. Alderman Rainey, do you want to offer an amendment as the
I
period
would
of time?
amend it to 3 months, yeah.
Okay. Is there a second of Alderman Rainey's?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. So we'll vote on the amendment first. All in favor of Alderman Rainey's amendment change the time period from 6 months to 3 months?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Then now we'll vote on the actual item. We need to do a roll call? Or just okay. All in favor of a 3-month moratorium, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, so we have a tie. So goes on to council without recommendation. Okay. All right. So moving along, item P2, I understand, is going to be held. So that brings us to item P. We were holding it to the next meeting, which I believe is the 27th. All right. Alderman Ravel, could you please take us through item P3? Oh, sure.
Okay, Zoning Board of Appeals and staff recommend adoption of ordinance 5-0-20, granting a special use approval for a commercial indoor recreation facility, Born to Win, at 2510 Green Bay Road in the B1A Business District and the Central Street Overlay District. The applicant has complied with all zoning requirements and meets all of the standards for a special use for this district. This is for introduction.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing one, Alderman Ravel.
All right. I just had a question. The cover memo from staff indicate, this is about the hours of operation. The cover memo indicated that it was 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., but the information in the minutes from ZBA said it was 5 a.m. to 1 p.m.
I'm going to assume that's an error because they would probably want to be open till 5 p.m.
Okay. I mean, the reason they did say 5 a.m. to 1 p.m., then they said they'd be closed before the
Evening
the
rush,
other
yeah.
uses started or something. But it's not a big issue for me. I was just trying to clarify.
We can clarify and make sure that it's accurate when it comes back for action.
All right, seeing no more lights, all in favor of ordinance 5-0-20, granting special use for a commercial indoor recreation facility, Born to Win at 2510 Green Bay Road, please vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item passes. Alderman Simmons, could you please take us through item P4?
Sure. P4, ordinance 6-0-20, amending Title 6 Plan Development Setbacks in the Residential Districts. Plan Commission and staff recommend a zoning ordinance text amendment to revise Section 68110 relating to limitations on site development allowances regarding setbacks for planned developments in residential zoning districts. This is for introduction.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes as well. I will take us through item P5, ordinance 8-0-20, plan development at 999 to 1015 Howard Street. Plan Commission staff recommend adoption of ordinance 8-0-20 for approval of special use for a plan development in the B2 Business District to construct a 4-story, 73,017 square foot addition to the existing CGE Senior Life Building. The addition includes 60 affordable dwelling units for residents and 55 parking spaces. This is for introduction. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none?
Oh, none. Oh, I have to say something.
Alderman Rainey.
Well, this has been a long time coming to this point. This is the final round. And I couldn't be more proud, and I hope all of you looked at the packet and the artist rendering of what this building is going to look like, and it's really quite something. And there were a lot of indications of what the advantages, the pros of this building were. But one thing that wasn't mentioned, it was mentioned that the CJE building is going to be on the tax rolls, which it never has been. But this is in the area that was part of the Howard Ridge TIF extension. So all of this property is going to be new increment. None of this has ever been on the tax rolls before. So this is a very exciting infusion into the TIF district, which can be used for things having to do with TIF-approved items. And so it only goes to more improvements in the area, and I'm just very, very excited about that. And the work that's been done by this developer in other areas really is an indication of how easy it was to trust him in this area. And I think the building looks beautiful, and his team has been just so reliable and so responsible. And one thing I am going to ask all of us is that I'm not sure it requires a suspension of the rules or anything. I'm not sure what it requires. I'm going to have to ask staff and then ask you for permission. And that is, this is scheduled to come back on the 27th, but we're having a meeting on the 21st regarding all the affordable housing issues. And this is going to be on the agenda on the 21st regarding the financial issues. And so that it doesn't have to be 3 meetings, this meeting, the 21st and the 27th, could I please ask you all to approve having this come back on the 21st? For action. So, Michelle.
Sure. So, Alderman Rainey, there's no rule on this issue that it can't come back on the Tuesday, the 22nd.
The 20,
whatever that is, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
My only issue is the logistics, because our packets are now posted on Wednesday, so our items were already due. And so it's really just a mechanics issue.
Well, this will be already, I mean, it's already a packet item here. So couldn't it
I'm just telling you that what we will get as staff as pushback is that packet was already done. But, that's my only comment.
So-
It's not a rules issue.
So
We will
make a call to staff here?
we will check and report back.
All right, thank you. All right, anyway, so I just wanted to ask. All right.
All right, well, the item is for introduction has been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Alderman Wilson, could you
Thank
do
you.
item P6, please?
Ordinance 2020, granting a special use for a daycare center for children called Guidepost Montessori at 1012 through 1014 Davis Street. The Zoning Board of Appeals and staff are recommending adoption of the ordinance, granting a special use for the daycare center at 1012 through 1014 Davis Street in the D2 Downtown Retail Core District. The applicant has complied with all zoning requirements and meets the standard for a special use in the district. I am requesting suspension of the rules. Some of you may recall I mentioned this at our last meeting as foreshadowing. This was in front of ZBA, I think back in November, but could not be fit on the December meeting agenda due to the press of other matters. So I'm asking that we proceed with introduction and action tonight.
Is there
Second.
a second? All right, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor of moving with suspending the rules?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Alderman Nguyen? I have another. Oh, sure, we're done, right? Okay, Alderman Nguyen, all yours.
I wanted to take the opportunity tonight to recognize Michelle Mason-Kemp, because this is her last meeting here with us. Michelle is going on to be a really interesting job. She's going to be the general counsel to the state of Illinois' Department of Community and Economic Opportunity, which is a terrific job. And I think all of your experience here will really serve you well. But I did want to comment on what a pleasure it has been to work with you for the 10 years you have been here with us, and to say how much I admire and appreciate your professionalism. And I thought about you this today, your clear, calm, and creative responses, because that's what they've always been, to all of our interesting challenges. And that's as nicely as I can put it here for all of your hard work here. Michelle, you have done a superb job on so many issues for us, and I really appreciate it. And the Department of Community and Economic Opportunity is going to be very lucky to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman Nguyen. So it's just for the record, it's the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, but you got it real close.
Excuse me.
I've really treasured working with the City of Evanston. The wealth of knowledge I get is only from the projects that you presented. And so the projects that we've worked on has been such a range, and I tell this to the attorneys in the law department. You don't get this in private firms. And so it's been an incredible experience, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Alderman Wilson.
I'm just going to second. She covered most of it, but I'm very grateful. Your counsel has been very valuable to me through your entire tenure here. It's greatly appreciated, and our community has been extremely well served by your very diligent and thoughtful efforts and work. So thank you very much.
Alderman Ravel.
Well, I just want to echo my colleagues, but also highlight the way you've really been the standard bearer for us in our interesting discussions with MWRD these past 3 years. You championed our successful efforts to prevent a private road from being built across Isabella Woods, and then more recently you were the leader in our really protracted negotiations with MWRD about what could and could not happen at Canal Shores, and you persisted until we got a satisfactory resolution. And I know the Canal Shores leadership is distraught that you're leaving, but anyway, we really appreciate your leadership in particular in those in that area.
Alderman Rainey.
Well, while we didn't win the case, we certainly should have won it. I believe you're probably the United States' greatest authority on tar. And I think you did a fabulous job on that, and you understood it so well, and were so able to explain it to the rest of us. And I just thought the outcome of that was so unfortunate, but we did the best we could. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other items for discussion? Hold on real quick. I have one. I'd like to make a request for our next meeting for an update on the status of the payment due to the city for the termination of the lease at the recycling center from the former tenant. If we could put that on the agenda for the 27th.
Sure.
All right. Anything else?
Well, how about the money from Cafe Coralie? I want to know where that is.
Sure. So we can have an update at the next meeting, and I'll double check. It might be more appropriate to be actually at Administration of Public Works, because those have, I think that's where the recycling center one originated. But we'll find a way.
Thank you. All right. There's a motion to adjourn. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. We are adjourned.